Grubhub announcing it will donate $30 million of its own capital to 100,000 restaurants to help them during this time of crisis. That's about $250 to each restaurant. Joining us right now to talk about it is Matt Maloney, CEO of Grubhub. Good morning to you, Matt. How much of a difference is at this very moment $250 to a restaurant going to make?
Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's going to be a huge difference. We're looking at like a stimulus almost, because the way we're rolling it out is a consumer gets $10 if they spend $30. So our $30 million is going to transform into over $100 million of food sales to restaurants across the country. So that's a big slug when everyone, and I heard your last segment, everyone's working really hard to try to put money in the hands of small businesses.
What percentage of restaurants are still online and on board right now, and what percentage are off? And do you think you can even shift that or change that? Or do you think once you're off, you're off?
We're trying really hard. So it depends on the market. What we saw is in the early COVID West Coast markets, you'd see a dramatic dip in restaurants that went off the platform, and they're now starting to come back on. You have New York, Detroit that are in the throes of the crisis right now, and so they're peaking at about 30% of the restaurants are off. But remember, you're having thousands and thousands of restaurants coming on the platform for the first time. So we're seeing about the same number in terms of net, but it's just a transition.
And what's the experience of trying to onboard or even keep your delivery people working right now?
It's incredible. I mean, you hear everyone has these crisis stories. Our teams are working around the clock. We tripled our most onboarding month ever of restaurants. We had 15,000 restaurants go live in March, and we're probably going to do more in April. It's just an incredible intensity of need right now for restaurants. And so we're doing everything we can to help them. And with drivers, we launched contact-free pickup or drop-off. And we just launched last week curbside pickup for the drivers to make sure there's 2 layers of protection and no contact to make sure we help.
Hey, Matt, I got a bit of a tough question because I was looking online and saw some people talking about it. There were some drivers, and this is not just true of Grubhub, but across the board, who were saying, you know what, I actually don't make enough money doing this full time. I'm actually better on unemployment insurance right now, given what's taking place.
You know, there's plenty of work on Grub. I know there's lots of work on other delivery platforms as well. We have our own stimulus for our drivers. If they get impacted directly by COVID, we're paying them. I know other platforms are, and of course, the CARES Act just came through with a lot of relief for gig workers also. So I think that everyone right now is all hands on deck trying to help the restaurants, the drivers, everyone impacted through this economic and healthcare crisis.
Right. Hey, Matt, just think a little longer term out for all of us, because I think we're all trying to understand what the expectations are. I'm curious, inside the meetings that you're having, when you look at the other side of this, and the other side may be a month or two, depending on where you think about or how you think about this, there's other people who think that this is going to be a terrible restructuring, a bankruptcy situation that goes on for months and months, if not a year. Where are you on that in terms of what happens to the restaurant industry?
Wow, that's a big one. I am hoping for the best. I think that the fundamental economics of our society are still intact. I think that there is a lot of demand right now for restaurants. If we can help restaurants get through the next few weeks or months, depending on how bad this is, they will come back. They will be there for our communities. If they can't, then that's going to be a real problem. But as what we're seeing right now, once the crisis bottoms out in the market, growth does start to come back in that local area. But we're seeing is crises around the country in different markets at different times. And so we're trying to dynamically manage that situation on the ground.